So, tac. Join with computer audio. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me? So now.
Can you hear me?
Gaming. Can you hear me? Hello. Yo. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Awesome.
Okay, I need to set up the mic for Zoom. That's why. I got a new mic, so I never used it on Zoom. So just wait a second. For right now, I am live too. If it works, that would be perfect. So let's see.
Yeah, your mic's very good. It's very loud. I've even, for the first time, I've had to turn the volume down so that because it's so loud. It's louder than me.
Okay, crazy. I can put it a little bit down, but I just
No,
I know.
no.
Okay.
Leave it how it is because I turned it on my laptop.
Okay. So.
Yeah, it should be recording good on my end.
So now I just record basically the Zoom window. Okay. So stream window. Then screen capture. And then it's this one. Okay. But why can't I see it? Here it says I'm live. Live stream start.
I'll see if I can find you.
I'm still a noob, mate.
You're still what?
I'm still a noob in YouTube. So it takes some
Man, your
time.
channel doesn't come up when I search for you. You need more videos.
Yes.
And you need to do the tags because if you were putting digital perceptions in your tags in every video, maybe it would appear. But that's weird because I'm even subscribed to you, but when I search you, it's not there.
Weird.
Where is it? Oh, it's because it's digital perspectives.
No, perceptions.
Yeah, that's what I typed in.
Perspectives is the guy with 200.
Yeah, it just came up on my subscribe list before you. Can't even find you.
Is it in display capture? Why can't I see it? What the fuck? Automatically. Yes. Maybe. Could you find it?
I still can't find it now. Are you live now?
Yes.
Yeah, when I type in digital perceptions, it just comes up with a bunch of other stuff. Even when I specify that it's a channel, even still, it's a bunch of other stuff.
Wait. Okay, now I have the zoom on
Yeah,
the
if you can send me
screen.
a link to the live.
It won't just.
Oh no, you sent me a video the other day I can find. Yeah,
Yeah, true.
here we go. Oh yeah, yeah, you're live now.
Okay,
Sweet.
great. So the only issue that could happen is once I screen share on the Zoom call that the
Oh, how do I
bitrate
put
is
up a?
dropping.
Do you want me to put up a picture?
No,
That would
it's
look
okay like that.
preferable.
I just had this from the last live we did.
How do I put up the picture?
You go on my profile, on the right top of the app. You put you click on the logo, and then you go on the top my profile, and then you can
Yeah, yeah,
change.
yeah. I see. Yeah, let me just add that quickly.
Host disable participant screen sharing. Okay. Let's maybe before we start check if the bitrate is not dropping like crazy.
Cool.
Because if that works, that would be amazing. Sometimes I just have the worst connection. I don't know why, because we have 1 gigabyte per second incoming, and I get from my PC like, I don't know, 15 to, let's say 50 to 15 or 10 megabyte per second, depending on the day, or I don't know. You need to give me a host to check if the sharing is working.
For the screen share.
Yeah, you need to go to
Okay, yeah, yeah.
participants.
Yeah, I just
Okay,
allowed
it's
you to
working. Yeah, it is working. Filter apps. This window
Yeah, I'm interested in
here.
hearing your take on the markets.
Yeah, let's see. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's looking good.
Okay, great. This is actually a trade I'm waiting for, and it's fucking doing nothing here.
What you're
For
waiting
my
for euro to go up.
yes, it's just like a quick move here to the highs,
Oh
because
yeah.
if you look
Yeah,
here
yeah,
in the
up to
4 hour,
0.86.
if you look here in the 4 hour, we had the sideways action. We had this morning at 8 o'clock, we had British pound CPI news coming out, which instantly pumped the price down. And then we have this great imbalance here at the bottom of the structure. And I just bet on it that we're gonna fill those imbalances, then try to take that liquidity here, and that would be basically the trade already, you know. If it
So are
just
you waiting
rushes.
for it to go further down before you enter?
Yes, my entry is exactly here. When I go down in the time frames, you can see here are imbalances. If I even go down further, I combined what I had before with, let's say, some people gave me, or a person give me some type of nuggets or key, how to really know where people are getting stopped out and which fair value gaps are important to close before a reversal. So in this case, we had here an imbalance that goes as far as it needs to go for it to be closed one day, and then we have this imbalance. So I just took the both of those imbalances and created like just an average entry price, and
Okay.
from this I take my entry. Like, this confirms me that at this bottom that there was a reason for it to come down, to close it here. We even have
Yeah.
it in the 30 minutes. This is called an imbalance. We're gonna talk about it after.
Yeah, and you can see
But
there was a lot of activity around that
yes,
price range
so
before
look,
it broke out.
here we had 1,000 and 12,000 contracts liquidated just at these lows here. So that's the reason they just pushed the price back up, tried to take that liquidity, but the minority was sitting here, and the minority just pushed the price from here back down. And once the buyers repush it to the liquidity, they don't want it to get stopped out. And as you see, just the news came, boom, it pumped, and then boom, quickly dumped. Here was the European CPI news, so we were here, and it pushed it up like not even a bit. Like these were 12 pip move and rejected back down. So the idea was just to take that liquidity here. So to not get stopped out, they pushed the price back up when the news came, and then they took all the liquidity laying in the lows before. So this is where people got stopped out, and I want to place my entry after people got stopped out, because this is often, let's say now, if we go too high and we reach this before coming down, I will not enter the trade. But if we reject this zone here and comes back down, I will at least try to fill that imbalance here, and then some, depending on how it reacts, I just close my position here. If it gains strong momentum and doesn't have a break of structure on 2 or 3 time frames, I'm just gonna let it run, take some profit here at the 50% move. Let's say it's a 1 to 2 move, and I would take, let's say, a third out of my position here. Let's say I risk $1,000 to make 2,000 on this one. I would take 300 out at this level, still having 700 running in the position, putting my stops break even. So $300 are made for sure. So if it holds this level and comes up and stays here and pushes higher, and we have momentum, we have reason to go up, I just let it run, and maybe I can take out 1 to 3. I used to only trade 1 to 3 risk to reward, but I realized that often you first before you put a trade or you enter a trade, you have risk management. So risk management consists a lot of your stop losses and how big your lots are to enter, how much you want to risk on a certain position. So I always risk between 0.5 and 1%. And in this case, on a 100k account, this would mean I risk $1,000 to make 2,000. And in this case, I needed at least some kind of room below that liquidity of 8,700 contracts. So I put a 10.5 pip under that liquidity, because there is a potential that we don't directly react here, that we do this and then come up. So I'm protected against that with these lows here. And so now I know, let's say this is how you start. So you look at your how deep do I need to protect myself pip wise or movement wise. Once you have your stop, then you can see how high can it go, and makes it sense. If it could just go to here, let's say, I would never take the trade because I risk what I could make.
Because yeah, exactly.
So I try to go into smaller time frames and see we have an imbalance here and we have an imbalance here. So could this be reached? Yes, let's say it just reaches the first one. This would already be almost a trade of 1 to 2. So my stop, I just put it here between those two, which is a risk to reward of 2. And then once it comes into profit and I'm basically break even, then I can try to take out the maximum in the trade. Because once I'm break even, let's say we come up here, boom, 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 and then we come down and we have a new imbalance down here. I am break even and I'm still in profit, so I could reinforce my position down here and make even a risk to reward of 3 in a setup of 2 to 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like leveraging the same setup, making more profits with the same bias, you know. So that's why what I'm looking for right now. Since this morning I'm waiting for this. It just didn't reach yet. That's why sometimes I told you, yeah, let's do it tomorrow, and then just before we should make the video, some reaction came, and you know, there are always emotions involved. You need to be focused. So sometimes you just realize you're wrong and you exit quick, you know, because yeah, it can just not turn in your favor.
Yeah. So your entry is that box where it says 2 and the 1.809.
No, this
That's
was
not
just to watch how strong this price action here could bring the market down. So these extensions always just tell you not what the market will do, but what the potential move can be. And it never lies. Like, it, look, it's crazy, you know. And this, after 2 CPI news, it just hold that 1.618. But this is
so your
where a lot
entry,
of
where your
entries
entry
are here.
was, the 618?
No, because I know that majority of people will trade that level, so they are already in the position. So now they think we have break of structure in, let's say, a smaller time frame here. So now, even if they use the same tool as me, they do different things than me. Because I know here are equal lows, I just saw them. Equal lows are always very interesting liquidity sweeps. Here in this particular case, you see that they are exactly at the same point. This is, we name this equal lows or equal highs. So these are often price levels we're going to meet or swap. And second of all, a lot of people know Fibonacci, so they will place their entries on that particular level and just speculate on it going into a correction. But we didn't had a blow off bottom, so for me this is accumulating more buyers to wreck them. And when they are wrecked, when the liquidity is taken out of them, this is when I go in. And then I use things like terminals where the sentiment...
So your entry is between the 618 and 1.809.
No, it is under this one, because for the entries I always use, or most of the time I use imbalances, fair value gaps, because often they are being closed before the reaction comes. Let's say we do not even take the smaller imbalances, but we take the 1 hour imbalance. And as you can see, it is between the 1.89 and the 200 exponential target. So this, once we break this to the downside, this just means that it's oversold, you know. There can be a drop under that, but it depends also on the price action to go there. Because if there is not great power accumulated to break that 200 moving average, it's just not gonna happen. And as you see here, for scalp traders, this would be already, let's say a scalp trader risks 10 pips, so he would already be now break even, you know. So this was for me it wasn't it was too risky, because we have even more downside targets. Here is an imbalance here that got partially closed, but we still have this one that didn't got filled yet. So the minority is short on this one. So most of the people are long. And I usually...
You're saying you want to enter even lower.
Yes, because first of all, I know the minority is wrong, the majority is 90% of the time they are wrong, or they are partially right during the day, but there will be a moment in the day where they are wrong. And I usually try to anticipate the minority coming into the market and pushing the price quickly somewhere. And they always just enter at low or high prices. They never enter somewhere where it is not interesting. So as we know that we need liquidity for the big positions to enter the market. And as long as there's not enough liquidity, they just look. What people don't see is that we have here 46,000 contracts liquidating from 85,712 on to the downside. And as you see here, we didn't close it, so we have even more liquidity now at the bottom. This is even more liquidity now. All this zone is liquidity here. So this liquidity will be taken. So now they just want buyers to come in. The
So
next,
pushing it lower.
yes, because they need liquidity to put in their big orders. If there's no liquidity, they would move the market too fast and too quick.
So they just they're holding up the market where it's at to let all those more limit orders come in so they can just wipe them out.
Look, there is a tool, I sometimes use it to really know where the players came in, because I don't have Bookmaps. Bookmaps is a software that gives you liquidation prices and order book flows. And order book flows is what we trade. We don't trade market cap. In crypto, you don't trade market cap. People use it as a measurement, but it isn't what you trade. You cannot buy market cap. You cannot put a limit order on market cap. You know what I mean? So we trade what is in order books, and the flow of an order book determines where people went in, aggressive buyers. Look, so here in this move, you can clearly see that here is the most significant imbalance, which also, so now we know where is the next potential sell movement coming in. So it will be between this week here and this close of that second imbalance, because you see there was no volume trading this. This was just the news. How do they push the price quickly to the downside is, for example, before the news happens, here are a lot of buying orders. Let's say 10 times more than usually. So what will the market do? The market wants to grab that liquidity to then maybe go higher. But the problem is, once it drops, they how do we say, they spoof their orders and they put it lower and lower. And once that happens, it means that they just want, as like a magnet, take the price lower so they can enter.
Yeah, so they're putting in big orders like lower.
So they, yes. So they already have, let's say this morning we opened here, and maybe all the big orders were down here. So it pushed the market to these orders. So some of the orders, as you can see, got filled. Does not mean that the big orders are here.
So you only want to enter when the big orders are coming in.
I try,
and
yes.
Confirmation that the
yes,
that
I try. I'm in my process
of off the charts when they come in, or does it lag? Like, that's the problem with these indicators, is they might not show up right away, and there might become some kind of like
I don't use indicators. I don't use indicators. The only I use indicators, but it's very small. The only thing I really use is volume, obviously, which is important. No matter what people say, volume is important. And then I often have the 100 and 200 moving average, which says that this imbalance will be important, which is why I also have it. We have this high that could be swept and then just break further down. So if we break this imbalance here with candle close and volume, I'm not interested in that imbalance anymore.
So the imbalances you're looking at is the imbalance between the 200 moving average and the price?
No, this is just another confirmation that this is the moving average. This is the average of the price, where the price should be regarding to the last 200 candles. So this is just a fair value of the average of the last 200 candles. So in the daily, it would mean the 200 moving average is the average of the last 200 days. And
Yep.
I will show this on Bitcoin and so after. So you can really understand why we were going up. And I mean, I called the bottom, I called the top, and it's always the same. Like, it's always the same. It never changes. I mean, yeah, at that time, I wasn't 100% sure that it would be the bottom. But when people asked me, are you still in crypto? And I was like, yeah, why should I not? Yeah, but look at the prices. But I wanted to buy, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's going to 5K. And I told people at 16K, come on, mate, at least start buying now. Because maybe you will wait forever for something to not happen. And this is exactly what happened. I even told one person in my family, like, if you have now 15K to invest, just put at least 30% now, 30% at 12, 11K, and 30% under 10K.
Yeah.
You know? And they did neither of both. So now they are like, yeah, I want to buy. You think 35, 40K is a good entry? I'm like, not really, but if you are not in, it is. You know, like, it's so hard to explain to people because for some it is a very interesting price to buy at 40K, but for others it is a terrible price depending on what their expectations are, you know. So it's very hard. I don't try to predict something I believe is going to happen. I'm more like trying to find a reasonable explanation for price action and what to expect next. Because there are always two ways. And same on Bitcoin. I mean, I was on the stream when this happened. 5 or 6 live streams before. I mean, the first live stream, I believe, when was it? September, October, November. Here was my first live stream.
Mm-hmm.
And I told people that we have very interesting imbalances that could be filled and liquidity taken before we see that correction that everybody anticipates. And often it will not come when people anticipate it. So back then we had an imbalance here, okay, with here liquidity in that imbalance, which gave me a high conviction from that point on that we could just close that imbalance. What happened? We just closed the imbalance, and then look how beautiful it stayed at that imbalance. And this move here was the fake approval. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
So this was the fake ETF approval. And then it spiked up, and here the ETF got approved. And if you go down to the BlackRock ETF, you can see that actually they were invested before, as we obviously all understood that they are not buying after 14 years and thinking that they are early on. So as we got that information that Bitcoin is valuable in the future, they most likely had that information before us. So they accumulated Bitcoin during that time, and now they just they had a lot. I think it was $2.3 billion influx into that ETF, and the price dropped. So it is obviously the price of Bitcoin that dropped, plus they sold on the face of their investors. So let's say we bought at the open of the ETF, the money we wanted to invest, we invested it in the ETF, and they just sold some tokens or some Bitcoin they accumulated during the last months, you know. I believe this is all it is. Like, that doesn't even mean we could go lower right now. I mean, technically, we can go much lower from here. But I just don't believe that. Look, I also talked about this a few times in my life. This is a chart that I never really was aware of. I just was clicking through these technical charts and I found the bubble index, which obviously we all know the term Bitcoin is in an inflating bubble, yes? So I was like, okay, what happened last cycle? Last cycle, we had obviously this inflating bubble. And then during the bear market, we went to the bottom, and for a short period of time, let's say from the 30th of November until, let's say, March the year after, we had a negative bubble index. So that means that there is negative hype, basically, negative momentum. So also back then, this pump here were the institutions and not retail. I mean, there is always retail involved, obviously. But I mean, that weren't the people that moved the market. And in this case, as you can see here, since the bottom, when we were at the bottom, people were still positive about it because FTX was still great and a lot of people were invested in FTX that still had a lot of gains. They basically still were at the top of the bull run. And then when I saw this dump of, I think it was 26%, and stopping, look, this crash here was the Luna crash and then the capitulation after. But this move was very small, and I was like, a bigger exchange collapsing than Luna, a bigger project collapsing, a lot more thought outside than Luna, and still we just dropped 26% in the Bitcoin chart. And then I will show you after where I spotted the break to the bull run, because for me, in my theory, the bull run starts when the bottom is in and we break structure. The bull run doesn't start when we break highs. I mean, that's how most people see it. I just don't see it that way. And what is even more interesting is that back then at the bottom, look here you have the Bitcoin Google Trends combined with the bubble index and the price. So here you can clearly see that at this dump, a lot of people got scared and started to search for Bitcoin on the internet. Why it's happening, whatsoever the reason was that they searched for Bitcoin on the internet. So, and then we had more kind of a stable Google Trends trend, let's say consolidation in Google Trends, until the bull run actually broke that highs after the Corona crash. So the most of the people came in the last pump, not even in the building phase for the bull run, but they came once we broke. So this time you can see that we pumped 200% in the price, but still the Google Trends are at all-time lows and the bubble index is still negative. So now everyone can make its
How do they
assumption.
gauge bubble index? By the
What?
Google Trends.
Again?
How did they get this bubble index number?
Here?
Yeah,
This
the
is just
screen.
on-chain data, how much volume is coming in, how many new addresses are created, and on and on. This is all these things together combined
Oh,
in.
so yeah, so you're basically saying this is
This
just
is just momentum. It's
old
just
research.
momentum. It's just
Yeah.
momentum. The green line. It's an, as they say, we are in a bubble, like the dot-com bubble, you know? And this just shows you if something is overvalued. And a beer market is nothing else than recalibrating the price to what its real value lies in. So let's say Bitcoin was at, I don't know how much it was. Was it 1 billion, 1 trillion at the top? I
More than
think.
that, I think.
Yeah, 1.2 whatsoever. So
Yeah, yeah.
there were not 1.2 trillion dollars liquidity in the chain. The
No.
only reason why it was 1 trillion is what's circulating, or the existing supply times the current price. So what happens in the beer market? In the beer market, people said it's too high, the price. It's inflated too much. So the 15K bottom just told us that this is the real value of Bitcoin with what is actually liquid in the chain. You know what I mean? So a bear market is nothing devastating, it is just recalibrating and harmonizing the bubble that was created by FOMO and by taking the opportunity with the momentum. So we push the price, we push the price, we push the price, and then once they start to want that liquidity, that exit liquidity, then you really know that we are at the top. As for example, with the, back then the Elon Musk saying, yes, I take Bitcoin on my Tesla website for orders, for whatsoever. And then 5 days later, he said, it's not efficient enough, it's going against environment and stuff. And then the beer market basically started. So at the top and at the bottom, they need you to believe a certain thing to have entry or exit liquidity. It is not more than that. Because if, let's say, a big bank or a central bank or big players want to buy for $10 billion in the next 12 months, if at 15K they put in $1 billion, this coin would have skyrocketed 100% in a day. Because there is a difference between market cap and order book flows. I can give you after an example on Hex because you can really see it clearly that liquidity is much more important for price performance than a market cap. And this is why I also believe we are not going to see the 10K Bitcoin, because there is a negative bubble index and there is no one looking for Bitcoin on the Google. People got just slaughtered last beer market. It took so long. This beer market was the longest beer market we ever had. Just because of this blow off top here.
Yeah, because it had that second peak.
But on the other side, it helped us to hold the price higher during the beer market. You know, I gave you Torai back then. The guy that makes YouTube innovation markets and stuff. Do you remember?
What's his name?
Torai on X, it's T.
Oh, yeah. I like his content.
I really like him, but for me, maybe in his channel, he is bullish at the right moment. But it's easy to be a perma bull or a perma beer. So I told him, bro, the same as I say right now, maybe you give at the wrong time the good buying opportunities, but on the internet you are just a beer maxi. And
Yeah,
I reminded him that back in last bull run bottom, he sold Bitcoin at 16K before it ran to 60,000, and then he bought XRP after the lawsuit at 17 cents because Sean Lee gave the call. And he just liked the comment without even answering. But anyway,
Hold on 1 second. I need to upgrade this or the fucking call's gonna stop.
Okay. Or just relaunch it. Send me a new link and we will restart.
Yeah, but we can't just keep relaunching it every half an hour.
Yeah, sure.
It's gonna be annoying. It's probably only $10 or something. Let me see. The upgrade button's not working. Fuck. It's gonna turn off anyway.
One second, guys. We will be back in 2 minutes. Black screen, bro. Oh my god. Thanks for telling me, bro. What the fuck? That's why people drop off all the time. Thanks, bro. I didn't realize it. Oh my god. It's the first time screen sharing on Zoom and at the same time trying to be live on YouTube. So for now it should be you should see the charts. I'm just waiting for Can you let me know? Can someone let me know in the chat if you can see the chart? Okay. Oh my god. I didn't I didn't realize that. Come on, mate. He's just upgrading his Zoom membership so we can go live more than 50 minutes. So we don't have to change the link every hour. Let's see. Worst case, yeah, you always need to wait for a few minutes. I can't believe that I had a black screen for over 15 minutes. My fucking god. So my whole forex analysis and everything isn't on the live. What a shame. Bro, you hear me?
Hey, sorry about that, man.
No problem.
upgraded.
You know what I realized?
Hmm.
I was sharing a black screen for over
No, I could see your
45
screen.
minutes. Yes,
I
you
could see your
could
screen.
you could see it on your end, but not on the live stream. Oh my god.
Wow.
But anyway, maybe if you
Have you
want, you
fixed it
can
now?
just send me the first 40
Yeah.
minutes, so maybe I can cut something out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now it's fixed, or is it still again an hour?
on your live stream. Oh no, I fixed it. I upgraded to unlimited.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so yeah, I didn't
So,
remember it doing it that last time. I don't
okay,
remember having to for it.
wait, I will try again. So now you can see my screen.
I think maybe it was free because of COVID, that they were trying to get more people using it.
Ah, possible, yes, possible. Or they got so many users that now they can uh, let them watch advertisements every 10 seconds, and so they make their money that way.
Yeah, that's not good when you're having a meeting.
So, where were we? Where did we stop? I don't know exactly. But do you remember?
You were talking about Tori and how you told him
Yeah, and the last
to
thing
stop
that I
using
said
Barrett.
is that he sold at 16K and bought XRP at 17 cents because of the call of Sean Lee. And I just reminded him about that because I find it very destructive for an audience. In case he's right, he needs to ask the question, if Bitcoin now, let's say Bitcoin would dump to 10K, who has the balls to buy it then? You know? So either way, they will not be involved in it. And if you really believe that someday we're gonna break out this 100K, it really basically does not matter where you buy when you are a long-term investor. Not everyone thinks like us, you know, to take out the maximum of what we can, and people are just here maybe to de-risk their portfolio when it comes to bonds, to all that stuff, and others that take 1% of their capital and just push it in, hold it for the next 5, 10, 15 years, and those people don't care. And most of the time these are the people that are not involved in the markets yet. So it's very hard to say Bitcoin is going to 10K when we are at 50K, you know. Like, sometimes you need to be a little bit more reasonable. And I always try to hold in mind the long-term chart, because what happens here, you should not care. What happens here, you should not care. If you want to ride the wave of a bull run, if you want to make a 2x, okay. But if you want not getting flushed out in a bull run, you better look at least at the weekly, because otherwise you're gonna crack. You are gonna sell if you don't know what you do. So we have two big imbalances here. Until we break these lows here, nothing really happened to the upside. We just have more power than to go up. So no matter what it does, and if we come back to 25K, it would not mean shit, okay? But for certain people, this would mean the downfall. So it really depends on who you are. And that's why
You
I'm
mean for people with
reinforcing.
leverage
Yes, for example, or people
up
that
here?
cannot handle a 40% correction. Let's say this is a 28, 30, 35, 40% correction
You mean they have too much
temporarily.
on the lines and they
Yes,
need the extra money?
yes. Imagine you have FOMO here and you put in everything and it drops 40%. If you do not know how the markets work and you are used to traditional markets, you will panic. I mean, when does the last time the index markets or something where there is a lot of weight and a lot of liquidity and capital in it drop more than 40%? Almost never. So they are not emotionally as strong as we are, and they have more money in it. But I mean, someone that has, let's say, 100K and puts in 100K is exposed 100% of his capital, feeling the same emotions than someone putting in 10 billion and losing 40% of it. You know, even the guy who put in 10 billion, his life didn't change. You know what I mean? His life didn't fucking change. If 100k is everything you had and you put in the 100k and you lose 40k in, let's say, 2 weeks, it hurts. You know what I mean? So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
And what I always say is the only reason why we didn't see a sharp bear market as, for example, this one. Look. There are all these speculations why Bitcoin is doing what it is doing. And I always explain, I don't try to be smarter than, for example, Fibonacci, because it will wreck you. Look, the last imbalance, okay? We just swept into that when we had the capitulation. We hit the 1.618. But what was the big difference between that bear market top and this bear market top? I already explained this in a video.
Double top.
And what does that mean? Like for the price action?
It means the bear market was longer or shorter. Longer. But didn't go down as much, you said.
Yeah, so if you have, let's say, what is normal is a push to new lows, a correction to, let's say, the golden pocket 61.8, and from that point on, you go down and you break A. So in this case, if you take the extension tool and you put it on AB, 0 AB, you will have your extension potential, which let's say would be here. And if now I create the same bottom and top for every sequence, you can see that if now we have a double top, the target is lower or higher in this case. So this tool is none other than giving you the potential down move, where the power was created in the first 0 AB. And as I said you back then, once we break A, there's almost a 75 to 80% to reach that target. And if I take the same high, let's say this one would be the double top, we have a different target, which is
higher.
Let's say 20% higher than this scenario. And this scenario was that way. So we had a high, we had the low, we just swept into the 78. This is where all the stops were lying and the liquidity. So it went a little bit higher. But still, let's say we take the same here. So we go down, we have A, we have B, but B is going here. Still, we have a lower target than in this case. Even if we were going back to the 786, which is often where people have their stops under that or over it to protect themselves, because often it just spikes to the 78.6 and then drops. So yeah, it basically does not change. It just shows that if the price corrects higher, the downside is lower. If it corrects less high, the downside is higher or stronger. So now we have this top. So we had the first top here. we had the bottom here, and we had the break of A here at Luna crash. And then you also realize, when does these events happen? These news happen when the price needs to break a certain area, which is held from retail or institutions. So a news, boom, it flushes it down quickly. So this is why news are important for new momentum in the market, let's say. So in this case, we had an overextended sequence, which is something we do not trade, but is something we can measure still. You have the first high, you have the low, and you have the high. And the bottom.
By overextended, you mean it went higher than the 1.618?
Yes. No. An overextended high. So this is an overextended down sequence. For example, here,
Double bottom.
this is a normal sequence, this is a double top sequence with target here, and then you have the overextended sequence. These are basically the three patterns you will see. Let's say a little bit overextended, not even a lot. But still, you realize, okay, the target is not that low as if we would react it at the top or below the top we created the first time. And that's basically where I took my bottom thesis from. Because, you know, people speculate a lot and they like to talk and to make people think they know everything, you know? And I'm not that kind of person. Maybe sometimes people think it is that way, but it isn't. It's just that boring sometimes to explain this to people because I've done it over and over and over and over again. So, I mean, it's clear that you see that the higher B goes, the less low we are dropping. So if you take all these sequences here, you realize, okay, we had an imbalance, we pushed higher, and then with an ABC top, not overextended, this was our target. We hit the target, we went into the bull run. Same thing here, same thing here. So right now, you take this, and this one, and you have your bottom. It's as simple as that. Maybe we would have even closed, let's say, this imbalance. So that was why a lot of people said 12 to 11K. But it didn't happen. Retail isn't even in the market yet. Why is the price there? This is the real question, you know? And
Are you saying retail need all-time highs before they re-enter the market?
I mean, the most retail came in, I believe, here. This is retail like us. We just understand. Somewhere here needs to be the bottom. I just DCA, you know, I just put money in. I know what it is. Other than that, I believe people, I mean, I saw a lot of people being extremely bearish on Bitcoin here and here. But what do they say now? You know, like, you made a big sea of problems on the internet for this and this. Like, come on, mate. It's just all content, money, viewers, content, money. It's all the same. They don't even know what to talk about when they do their new lives. And they go over the news, they go over this, and then they project their own conclusions. But at the end, I told my people on the live, I'm not coming live every day. I'm not gonna tell you every day the same shit. It does not, it makes just no sense. And I'm not here to use them to make my money. I don't, you know, it just doesn't make sense. I just want people to see that I do honest work and that this honest work will be recognized in the next years. You know? So that I have a long-term vision. I want to create consortium, which is a synonym for community. And my goal is to to bring mindset and technical analysis and opportunity into people. So everything I do has a long-term vision. If it does not have, I will not use one single minute or waste one single minute on it. And for now, what did I tell people? I have my cousin, I don't know exactly, I think it was at 34K when we broke here. He was like, oh, I wanted to put 10K into Bitcoin. Do you think I should buy now? I was like, I don't know. I feel like you need to wait, even if it's going to 40K, 45K. Eventually, it will come back down. And then your entry will be a lot more certain than if you enter now. So this is now the big range we have. I mean, as long as we don't break these lows here, we are still in the same trend. So this is for me a whole box of liquidity they can produce to exit. Ooh, my internet is unstable. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I believe if they are not just liquidating themselves because there is no real retail in the market yet, who are they going to liquidate? Are they going to liquidate each other? Or what are they going to do? You know what I mean? Like, if there is no real, let's say the majority of the retail that really knows what Bitcoin is since years, and we're here more than a cycle, I believe they all accumulated during this phase here. So they are all in profit right now. But in percentages, I believe it's a too small percentage to say now we push Bitcoin back at 10K. Why? Because, as I told you 2 years ago, for me it's more dangerous for Bitcoin to go to 10K because there are too many rich people never bought a Bitcoin yet. They can just FOMO in and buy up all these Bitcoin. When, on the other side, institutions like BlackRock, for example, they can just buy up every Bitcoin that exists at 200K a coin. They don't care. Because if they buy it for 200K, they have a target of at least 1 million in the next 10 years, 15 years. So they don't care, you know? So I believe we're going to see that downside, but I don't believe it's going to be that heavy as people think because of that fact. I can be wrong, obviously, but this is just my conclusion of it. Look, we didn't even break the lows here. So as long as we don't break here, nothing basically happened. It could even just take out that liquidity here and then go back up. So is it a level to buy? No, it isn't. Are you not in yet? There are a lot of other opportunities. I would not touch it here. Even if we make even if it goes to 200K, man, I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. All the downside for 350% to the upside. I mean, if you're a multimillionaire and you want to make 300%, nothing against that. But I mean, this is also an opportunity for people that are not rich yet. And if they think the wrong way, they are never going to make it. We don't even know if we're going to make it, if we're going to sell at the right moment and so on. So how do they want to handle it? There will be some people having luck on their side, but yeah, I always say when you make something through luck, it's either because you prepared for the luck, because you prepared for a few years and then you were lucky. But if that is not the case, everything is going to be taken away from you. Because I always say, which something that comes fast is certainly not provided by God, more by the devil. And he wants to see who you are, so he takes everything away. And then when your ego died, he really sees who you are, and you will see also who you are. And this is why I like the delayed gratification mindset, because I believe the longer you are doing something, the more likely are the chances for you to win. It is just that, in my opinion. So what I would be interested hearing from you is this whole change of your bias when it comes to crypto, and that you are now interested in the Bitcoin protocol, which before wasn't really the case, and what happened in your journey for it to turn that way.
Well, the only reason I didn't like BTC was because I didn't take part in the massive move to the upside. I got scammed in that Ponzi in 2017 or 2018. So that's what made me look into altcoins to try and make more money, because I saw, because that bull run, I was mainly positioned in BTC, and I realized that coins like Neo were pumping like thousands of percent and stuff. So uh, I decided to have more balls and start going for those lower cap projects.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's how I got into XRP. It just came on my YouTube, and then what, it was like 2021. Someone messaged me. They'd seen my XRP videos and they wanted to explain to me more about Bitcoin. So they sent me a website and explained how they hijacked the ticker change, and that's why BTC is so slow and expensive and not working properly, is because a criminal entity hijacked the protocol
Mm-hmm.
and basically bribed all the exchanges, and they just pumped BTC right after the split, and
So when was it forked?
that's so that to make that the real Bitcoin, because people just focus on the price.
Mm-hmm.
So
When
I
was it
realized
forked then?
2017, right before the crash. It was like December 2017.
But which chart is this then? Where is that interruption?
There's an interruption because BTC stole the Bitcoin ticker name and BSV was given a new ticker, but really the BSV chart should go all the way back to the beginning, all the
Mm-hmm.
way back to Genesis.
Okay, but what I mean is, why can we not see the change in the charts?
Because they're
Why
fucking
why
slow.
is Bitcoin on the trading view chart on Bitstamp since 2011, and 2017 someone forked it? For me, it doesn't make
Yes,
sense when I
BTC is
look
the
at the
fork,
chart.
and they're pulling the price data from before and saying that that's for BTC, because it is for BTC, because
Mm-hmm.
but it just doesn't have the historical price data for BSV, and it should, because that goes all the way back to Genesis.
Genesis block.
Yeah, and you can see that because of the different wallet addresses for
Mm-hmm.
SegWit. It's like three. If you type in like SegWit wallet addresses,
Mm-hmm.
there's three different kinds of Bitcoin wallet addresses now. But on BSV, there's only one kind of wallet address, because everything takes place on the main chain. They don't need like all these extra second layers and stuff to get the chain to work.
So you don't think it's a shady thing from Craig White
No,
forking the chain?
I think it's shady from the Bitcoin community who hijacked his invention and labeled it something else. It's like if
But
I
all
made
the
it's like if
billionaires
I
I
made
know, they they
it's like if
they
I made a fucking palace and I'm like, this is my palace, this is, yeah, like I've put my trademark on it, and then
mm-hmm.
someone else makes a different palace with shitty materials that just if there's a hurricane it blows away, and they're saying, oh, this is one of his palaces, this is the OG, and I'm like, no, the fuck, it's not.
Yes, but every project had that experience. For example, Ripple had it with I don't know the name again of this guy that created Stellar after. But you see this all the time. But as you also see, th- he didn't win, because at the end it's about winning, not about the truth. The truth will always just be important for the people looking for it. If I tell to someone, something about the events that are gonna happen in the future or that happened in the past, they just don't give a bollocks, you know. And this is maybe why I don't know. Since you talked about it, I had a chart here of the Bitcoin SV, and
But the price chart's not important. What's most important is the coin dance charts to look at the mining and stuff. Because if you can see how much money is being lost on the mining, you can see what's going to happen to BTC more than
yeah, it's
the
gonna
charts
double in
are.
price, so it's lucrative again, at least. This is what they do since 15 years. This is why the
I'll
price
pull
goes
up
up.
coin dance and I'll show you. Or
Or maybe do you?
do you want me to share the screen?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
I mean, I
Oh,
just want to understand it.
yeah. All right. Okay, so coin dance. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's got all the different Bitcoin protocols. So basically, all these Bitcoin protocols are claiming to be the real Bitcoin.
Okay.
So we've got the hash rate, the nodes, the transactions, and the block sizes. So
Yes.
BTC is really small block sizes. It's capped at 1 megabyte. So that means it simply can't scale. It can never scale.
True.
BSV, what they're doing now is fucking with the transactions. So they're bringing the transactions way up and then they're bringing it way down. It's just like they don't want to put the final dagger into BTC just yet. But
What
if
does
they
that
want,
transactions exactly mean?
so these are just they're just putting through extra transactions on the network to make sure that the miners are getting paid enough money.
Okay.
So they're doing this thing called the Terra node. They want to show that Bitcoin can scale to 1 million transactions per second. So apparently this month they're launching this Terra node and they're going to ramp these transactions up to you know, transactions we've never seen before, which
Okay.
would knock the BTC transactions way down, you know, as a percentage. But in the past, we've seen Bitcoin SV take up the majority of these transactions. It's usually like 80-20, but they've slowed them down over the last few days, and it's because BTC's pretty much on the brink. So it's already more profitable to mine on the BSV blockchain, and we've already seen a couple of miners come over, or there was a extra miner there who seems to be battling it out with another one. But right now it seems they're just getting lumped into the other mining pools. But what we're also seeing is see on the eCash and Bitcoin Cash mining pools, the other mining pools is taking over like more than half the network, and some people are speculating this other mining pools is Calvin and Craig, and so they're trying to squeeze people off those chains and make those chains less profitable,
I mean,
which
this
is a
is
lot.
the sinister move, or not?
I don't know. I don't really.
Doing
I've
it
never
for
really
their
thought
own
about it.
interest or not? As if they give a shit about miners making money. It's more like if the miners don't make money, my project is gonna die, or not?
Well, the project's not going to die. You can clearly see that
Yeah, I
Bitcoin
mean,
SV is more
there will
profitable.
not be
So if
momentum.
if Bitcoin SV just doubles, then that means
Mm-hmm.
it's over double as profitable to mine on Bitcoin SV. So the the BTC miners will just simply give up. If if
Okay, you are
if
right,
if I
but
were
you
a mining
talk
company
about
and I knew I could be twice as profitable elsewhere, I would just mine that
that's
profitable.
true, that's true. But what if you say, okay, we need if we double the price in Bitcoin SV, it's
Yeah.
gonna be it's gonna be 4 times more profitable if Bitcoin stays at the same price. But if Bitcoin
But
doubles,
we're not going to see BTC double. There's no way.
why?
Just to keep up with Bitcoin SV. Because if you look at the Bitcoin SV chart, we could go from $80, we could impulse a 4x to 240.
And
So a 4x would absolutely demolish it. It'd be like 300% more profitable to mine.
yes, but You have what you mine plus the volatility. So if the volatility is higher, you are even more at risk just to get more profits due mining. So for me, if we talk about hundreds of billions of dollars, I personally would not use Bitcoin SV for the mining. Why? Because I know that
Even
for
if
right
it's
now,
4 times more profitable.
yes,
That's
for
fucking
now.
retarded, dude.
The thing is,
Because
it's there's no
you could
weight.
just sell it into BTC if
There's no weight. And this is what people will surely do. Sell it into something else. Or not.
no, when the miners move over, they're obviously in control of the media.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll just push out a different narrative through their media.
Okay. So you think that the 2% that are controlling the Bitcoin supply and hash rate are interested in even more profits when they know that the mining profitability goes down before a halving? And if we see a Bitcoin now correcting 60%, let's say to 10K, it's done. Bitcoin is done. The miners are going to capitulate. So, for this not to happen, for retail not being really present in the market, and just the fact that you have 2 times the return for the mining side, I mean, 60% of people are not really believing in mining anymore because it comes from the old narrative and bias of Bitcoin being decentralized, being the new money being custodied. I don't know how to say it by yourself without a third party. But Bitcoin isn't that anymore. Bitcoin changed the bias. Bitcoin isn't Bitcoin anymore. So maybe this is where the whole narrative of Bitcoin SV and all these other come from, because it isn't what it was. Does not mean it is something different than it was. It is the same, like a religion. A religion today can still be the religion we started from. There are just few sentences manipulated to change the narrative, but doesn't mean that it's something different. This is what I don't understand. Like every time the miners of Bitcoin were before capitalizing, the halving came and they got profitable again. So this is just a cycle that happens since the fifth time now. So why should it be different this time? Why should someone that knows since 6 years it's 2.20% are working going into something that doubles the mining rewards, but doesn't have these other securities like the volatility, the how stable it is, and stuff, the liquidity and all that, all these things, this is just showing that it's more profitable to mine on BSV, that they made the transactions lower. And what was the last thing? Can you go back to these other?
It's because of the size of the transactions is so high.
So now when the
There's huge amounts of
transactions,
data being uploaded onto the network.
okay, so I
So
don't know if you
some
know that.
companies are uploading data onto the network, it seems.
Okay, so do you think once the percentage of transactions goes up, do you believe that block size will stay the same?
It will go even higher.
I don't think so. What if Bitcoin started at these metrics, which we don't know today?
What do you mean?
I mean, if you tune a car, for example, and you make a better exhaust on it for it to have a greater sound, you will lose performance on somewhere else. So if now the transactions 10 times, 100 times, 100x, what do you think happens to
Yeah,
the
it
block
might slow
size?
down the chain, but nowhere near as slow as having the 1 megabyte block size
So what's the
on
market
BSV.
cap of BSV?
It's like billion and a half.
Billion and a half. So it would need to 100x to compete with
Some people are
the.
saying it's 100x this year.
Okay. I wish for those who are invested in, I just wish it, you know? It's just that I just don't get it yet. I don't get it. Like, for me, there are variables that talk for it, and there are variables that say it's just hopium. That some
It's not.
particular
It's not what
guy,
they want. It, the BTC narrative's just going to come crashing down. As soon as there's a correction in the price, people will start going viral with the things that they've been
which
saying about it.
correction? How big do the correction needs to be for people to be like that?
I'd say if it hit 25K, people would start searching why is Bitcoin crashing, and they'd find some content
And do you
explaining why.
think the people that that are searching after a 30% move, Bitcoin is crashing, what's the alternative? Do you think they are in this market for a long time? I don't believe so.
Nah, they're gonna panic.
So, those who are in for a long time and those who control the market, they don't care about a 30% correction. They care about it to buy more. Not other than that. This is, I just try to to hold the most
I'm not
log.
saying they're not gonna buy more, but I think they'll start entering, 10K. You said 10K. I think it could go to 10K. I don't think there's
The
any reason
thing
why.
is, you also thought we could not go to 30 cents again, and we did, and I told you. So
I
it's
think it
not
could go
what
to
we
20
think.
cents.
It's not what we think. It's what we see. You know, you cannot think that something happens without having the proof.
This
You
is
know what I
proof.
mean?
How is this not proof? If the
Because it's
price
not the same
doubles,
weight. It's not the
the
same weight.
miners,
It's
if the price doubles, the miners will 100% shit themselves and start panic selling their BTC.
if the price doubles
Yeah,
of BTC.
of BSV.
Oh, I don't know, mate. There are projects pumping every day 3, 4, 500%.
Yeah,
Uh,
but they're not as important as Bitcoin. This is the real Bitcoin.
yes, but I don't believe that Bitcoin is that important, you know? It's like saying that Mozilla Firefox is the most important search engine. Maybe it was a certain particular time frame, but does not mean it will in 20 years.
Nah, that's bullshit. I would say that Bitcoin had something wrong with it in the first place. Bitcoin never had anything wrong with it in the first place until these people came in and forked the chain and rebranded Bitcoin as something else.
So Ethereum is the same as Bitcoin then, because Ethereum is a fork of Ethereum Classic.
Of Ethereum Classic, yeah. So there could be a time where the Ethereum Foundation says, "Oh, you know what? Proof of stake is bullshit. Uh, this is fucked. It won't scale."
Bro, they
And they
risked
could
their
try
whole
and funnel everyone
project.
back into Ethereum Classic.
Bro, they risked their whole project, everything they built it on Ethereum to make it proof of stake. And now you are
Yes, they
thinking
could make
that
more
there is.
money.
I don't. Yes, maybe. But I believe that it's a lot more complex than that. You cannot just think about the money here. You need to think about the the control of something. I mean, money is not the issue of the system. They can print more if they want. It's just about the people. And they need the people to have the economy going further in the future. They don't care about the money, you know? So this is something as I still am believing, let's say, in XRP, all these years with all these thought, all these things people thought is gonna happen to them, nothing happened. So I don't listen to people anymore. There are some genius. They will always find a way to make something probable or make something realistic or logical. But at the end, you never know from where this information is coming from. As I see here, this isn't really for me a big game changer when it comes to BSV is the real Bitcoin. Because I think on the long run, people will not care about Bitcoin. People will care about things they can make money on. And Bitcoin, you're not making money anymore. Even if it goes to 1 million, You make what? A 20x?
That's not Bitcoin, that's BTC.
Anyway, so the thing is now, so you think the ETF was there to break BTC?
The ETF's there to raise money at these prices before the inevitable rug, in the next 3 months. Craig says he's dumping all his BTC at the halving.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. For real. If he is the guy that holds 1% of the supply, there are
1%.
people, yes, but there are people, even, let's say, a guy like Da Vinci J15 owns 1% of the Bitcoin supply. Do you really think that now all these big institutions knowing this, I mean, come on, 1 million, let's say 1% of the supply could crash Bitcoin. But you need to ask yourself the slippage he's gonna get when he sells everything. There is not enough liquidity for him to sell. This is what I tell you.
Well, he's going to sell whatever he can get away with selling.
What?
He said he's going to sell as much as he can get. He said he only might get, 250 million.
Great for him. It's like 250 million, and now, like, I don't get it. Like, what are 250 million? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't know. I mean, even if he would dump everything, he would need to accept a 70% slippage on his order. As if he would do that. As if he would just waste his whole liquidity that he has to control something that maybe will be controlled by the big banks. So I don't know. Maybe he wants to make something other more relevant, or having eyes on it and stuff, but BTC to die for BSV to prevail, this means it's not good enough. Like, if it would be better technology and people would recognize it, it would have a different market cap. Projects that came out last bull run are higher in market cap.
The market cap, and it's
Yeah.
high inflation.
Yes.
They've added 25% onto their supply in the last year.
Yes. Why?
The reason
Because
it's not high market cap is because people are brainwashed that BSV is an airdrop, but it's not.
Let's say that's true.
Verifiable on the blockchain.
It doesn't change the
goes all the way
fact.
back to the genesis.
It doesn't change the fact that FTX was involved with the government and did shady stuff, and not for it to come out public, they needed to secure their money. How did they do that? The majority of the FTX holdings was in Solana. So how do they get their money back? By pumping the price. So this is manipulation, not people FOMOing. It does not have to do something with people. You don't understand that today.
That means that BSV could be just as easily manipulated. And if it does hit those kinds of prices leading up to the lawsuit, the people will just decide that he's already won. They'll be like, this is obviously market, people front running what's going to happen. And then people will start FOMOing for real.
And how high can it go this cycle then, if that happens?
1,000.
1,000.
10,000? I don't know.
So do you think that when Bitcoin was the major coin back 10 years ago, and it ran from like, I don't know, $5 to $300, that now something is coming and running from $80 to $10,000 in one cycle? It's like believing in I don't know. It's just not realistic for me. It's hopium. It's, if we are right, everything is going to go well. If we are wrong, we lose everything. And this is not for me.
You can't lose everything because the market's already bottomed. If you're in at $30, it's not going any lower than $30.
Do you really think that a market that is controlled by the banks cannot just make Bitcoin SV die? I mean, come on. We just need, how many leverage dexes or futures contract platforms you can trade Bitcoin SV? Are there platforms?
Well, whoever is doing all this BTC stuff, they're going to get sued if they don't. That's what this lawsuit's about on February 5th.
So do you believe that if some entity that is bigger than Quake White doesn't want it to prevail or doesn't want the truth to come out, just killing the project? It's easy. Easy
It's not
money.
easy because there's
It
always a
is.
lot. The lower it goes, people are just going to buy the dip.
Those who believe in it, but there is not a big community. There is no momentum. There is no market cap. There
There
is
is
nothing.
momentum. It's doubled in the last month.
Yes, because of all these guys bringing out that narrative. Doesn't
It's
mean
the
it's
truth.
true.
It's not narrative. It's the truth.
I want it to be true. I don't care
It's
either
true.
way because I
You
don't
need to
hold
do more
BTC
research
and
because
I
you've not.
don't.
You've obviously not done enough research. You don't think it's true.
Yes, that's true. I didn't do research about BSV because I do research about other coins that are really small caps, not 1 billion caps. There are a lot of 1 billion caps out there, but this is not a small cap. This is already a big cap. So why should I waste my time trying to find the real Bitcoin when I never was interested in buying BTC at the first place? You know what I mean? There are coins when I want something like Bitcoin where I'm really private and stuff. I'm just gonna buy Monero or something else. You know? Yeah,
But
I,
Bitcoin's not about privacy. That's just a narrative that the BTC people
yeah.
created.
This
They
was
just
now one
they
one one thing.
segue it.
I mean, eh, there is not a lot of things behind it. Being scarce, being. I mean, what do you say about the inflation bugs we had in Bitcoin 2 times, where they created 1 billion Bitcoin in a second? Why do the governments take away money from institutions on the chain? How is this possible? Maybe because it is what you said, that they forked something they can control. But on the other side, if that is really the truth, it will never prevail.
Yes, it will. Because when more people who are looking for the truth find out, they're just going to support Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin, what Bitcoin was first intended for.
Okay.
When it comes out in the media that Craig is Satoshi, everyone's going to support him.
I
And they're going
mean,
to realize that everyone that was spreading these lies about him
yes, but I
full
mean,
of
once
shit.
it comes out who it is, it's not going to be the same anymore. So I hope for the Bitcoin community that it never comes out. And I would, I don't know, having the balls saying I'm Satoshi without, I don't. It's just, I don't even want to know who it is because it will break everything. Obviously, then my projects are going to rise because people will see the truth. But yeah, I mean, there is a lot of cloud where you can be lost in this space. So I always try to understand what the bigger guys want, and I'm not really interested in what the small guys think, you know, even if I am a small guy. But that's why I listen to the big ones because they know
But
more than
that's
me.
stupid
They
because
control more than
the
me.
big ones are trying to protect what they've stolen through the fiat-based economic system.
It's over,
They're
bro. It's over yet. It's already over that. We are longly overdue when it comes to that. For me, they are just waiting for the next event to happen. Eh, like these events are prepared 15 years in advance. I just don't believe that they are just thinking about it right now. For me, it's happened a long time ago. Now they will be introducing tokenization of assets. They have already the technology. They could implement it tomorrow, but why aren't they? Because of politics, because of different other
no,
countries and
no, because
governments.
Craig has it all patented.
Maybe, can be. I don't say no.
And who controls the patent office?
Hmm.
Who controls
Okay,
the patent
so
office?
what is his goal now? He has the patents. He is the big boy. So what is his idea to, I don't know, to enrich the people if he is a good guy?
$1 million per Bitcoin.
Ah, yes, of course. Who doesn't want to hear that? I mean, bro, I wish it. I I basically don't care, you know. But yeah, let's see. Let's see.
We'll find out in the next month,
Yes. When is the timeline he's doing all this?
February 5th.
Hmm.
But it was meant to be 2 days ago, but it got delayed,
Okay, I see. As always.
as always. Yeah, that's why I'm saying essentially February 5th, because it'll probably get delayed again.
Yes.
Shake people up.
So, um, basically, these patents give him what control?
Pretty much control over all these crypto companies, and that's why they're all saying he's not Satoshi, because when it comes out that he is Satoshi, people are going to realize that their projects are infringing on his patents.
Okay, but what does that mean for them?
Like, for example, he's got one that says digital currency system,
How
which
can
is
someone have a
very
patent on
broad.
something that should be decentralized?
Why should it? What the only reason we would want multiple ledgers and not just do everything on Bitcoin is because people want it for criminal activity, and it'd be
Bro,
too hard to trace on all these
bro,
different ledgers.
without exchanges having BTC on their platform, BTC wouldn't even be where it is. So what's the problem? Where would be his token today if nobody would use it? It would be useless and nobody, you know. So it is the exchanges bringing it to people. So why does he want to make them now suffer or do something like that after 15 years when he didn't got what he wanted? Like I just don't get it. For me, it's a very narcissistic person coming out 15 years after something was created and telling all this BS. This is what I see. If
That's
it's true,
BS because the media came after him before he was out as Satoshi Nakamoto, and they were like, "This guy created Bitcoin. We're raiding his house," and they raided his house and searched for all his private keys and stuff. And they said this guy created Bitcoin, and he didn't actually come out and say that he created Bitcoin. It was when the media went after him and said this guy created Bitcoin, and then when he did say yes, I did create Bitcoin, and started saying stuff that went against their fucking narrative, that's when they said, "Oh no, actually, he didn't create Bitcoin."
and look how far they came.
Yeah, but the truth's coming out.
And the truth about Jeffrey Epstein came out, and they just made even more money on Netflix. I don't know. This is
I
why
don't
I'm confused about the
Democrat
truth and
100%
something that needs to be, you know? Because the truth, we also have it on our side when it comes to XRP. And until now, we see nothing. So,
But what about the truth of it? Well, that's not the truth about XRP. The XRP pumped on the day the BTC split with BSV, because that would have been the main news story that day. But instead, they pumped XRP to the moon and said, "Oh, look at XRP! Look at XRP! It's just done 1,000%. Everyone look at XRP!" And no one even talked about what happened with Bitcoin. So that's XRP's use case, is when this all gets decided with Craig in court, they're going to pump XRP because they're going to say, "Oh, everyone look at XRP. It doesn't matter what happened in the Craig Wright case."
I want it.
That's the only reason I'm long XRP.
Yeah, I don't think that's the only reason, but I understand you. I'm just, yeah, it's just that I need to see people doing something in the world, not just saying this is shit, that is shit, mine is better, I am the real one. I need to see movement. I need to see
But
people
there
being
is movement.
happy
We've
to be
got we've got
involved, you
betting
know.
on it. Um we've got HODL Locker. We've got a Twitter platform that involves hodling your Bitcoin on it. There's loads of stuff that's coming out. There's tokens on it. There's NFTs on it. There's everything that BTC has on BSV. There's everything that any other platform has on BSV.
Okay. So he
It's just an
created
inflexible
all in
protocol.
one.
Well,
As
if they
every
never,
other project out there.
there's just no point in them because they all have an inflation-based supply.
So how many
Just as
supply
bad as
of
the dollar.
BSV
Like
is on the market
how
right
how
now?
much are they inflating the dollar? Between 2 and 10% every year. And
Hmm.
some of these crypto projects are inflating higher than that. So why would I put money into it?
That's partially true, I believe, because there is price performance and there is inflation. And I mean, Bitcoin was inflating since 14 years. How many of the 21 million BSVs on the market?
Hardly any. There's like
So,
5 million
if
liquidity
miners have an incentive, why does miners become that incentive to mine?
because they're waiting for the right time.
Okay, so they don't do it for the money.
They'll all do it together on the same day.
Okay,
Is my guess.
yes, if it comes true, okay. But there needs to be a lot, like, there needs to happen a lot for one of these things to happen. And I
Not
don't
really.
believe that
One
Bitcoin
breakout in
is that
BSV and
important
miners can.
anymore. It just isn't. Like, maybe for the big guys, the big hedge funds and banks, i- it's still what it is. But I just don't believe that, other than what it is used for now, it will be in the future. And we need new infrastructure. We need new utility. There's a lot of things we need. And I just don't see just looking at mining and all that defining the future of something. Because it's all about returns, what you showed me, but nothing about security. And if you implement the utility in the market, security needs to be first before you talk about gains. This is why it took so long
BSV
to
is the most
implement.
secure blockchain.
I don't
Like
know,
most of the
because
transactions are
let's
done.
say
Done.
Phantom had 10 times cheaper transaction than XRP when there was no weight in it. Once the liquidity rose up, the prices were 5 times higher than on XRP. So I believe it's the same. It's movement that creates problems. If it's not used, why should there be a problem if it is based or if it is the real chain? So why should there be a problem if there is 1,000 times more liquidity on the fork chain, still having not real big issues?
It is having big issues. Is whenever there's too many transactions on the chain, the fees go way up. They quadruple.
And that's good
Why?
for the security, because
How
there are
does having
multi
a massive fee make it more secure?
because not everybody can buy it,
That's a
because
bad thing. Because the
yeah,
right
this
people
is a
think
bad thing
Bitcoin is
for
peer-to-peer
people, but it's
electronic
not a
cash.
bad thing to control it. I mean, we play in the game of the banks. If you hate the banks, don't use cash, you know? I mean, look on the picture of your bill, of your money bill, and you will see the face of someone. You are playing in their matrix. You are playing their game. So if you don't like it, don't use it. It's as simple as that, you know? But for the rest, I mean, they will continue to control the money. It will never change. Like, even people thought 3 years ago that Bitcoin is controlled by the people, but when 95% of people, or let's say 5% of the people, own 90% of the supply, it's the same as with money. Just that you cannot create more of it or print more of
Yes,
it.
but
They just
it would
rise
be
the price.
centralized over the more time spent, the more Bitcoin would become decentralized because people would need to use their Bitcoin to buy for stuff.
No,
So it's
Bitcoin
just
will never
further
be
economic
used to
system.
buy stuff. Why should Bitcoin be used to buy stuff? Yes, but there's the Lightning Network and blah
Because you
blah
don't
blah.
need the Lightning Network on actual Bitcoin. The Lightning
Yes,
Network's
maybe that's true,
BTC bullshit.
but the thing is, I just don't see Bitcoin being money. They failed for 15 years, forked it several times, and it still does not work. Like,
It does work.
okay,
It's just the price hasn't appreciated.
how long does it takes for your BSV to come into my wallet?
1 second,
1 second.
if that. Instant.
Okay, that's
It has a
great.
10-minute confirmation block time, but you can see it in your account.
Ah,
You can see it in your
yeah,
account.
but bro, come on. Like,
See in your
like
account.
you are sitting in China having a hedge fund. I'm sitting in Luxembourg having a hedge fund. But I can't buy certain products because I don't have the regulations to do it in China. So I need to send you money. Sometimes it needs to be very quick. It's just an example.
Yeah, but you can
So
literally see it
if
before
I
the
say to you,
confirmations that take place.
you call me and say, bro, we need to buy now. Until I made the transaction and you wait for it to take the money, maybe you see the money on your address, but you can't use it. So you need to use your money until you get my money. So you
No
can
one's that
directly.
desperate that they need to be like that. If you're
Okay,
handling
but
large amounts of
this is
money.
discussions from venture capitalists. So this is not me inventing that narrative. Okay, so explain.
What do you
That's the
mean?
problem. Like, if someone needs to wait 10 minutes or 15 minutes to get money somewhere, you are slower than the
But
system,
it's
the banking
instant.
system
To
we
be
have
fair,
right
instant.
now.
Even if it has 0 confirmations, you can see that the transaction's been
You
sent.
can
There's
see the
no
transactions. You cannot use it.
disputing whether it's happened.
So if I send you now $500 million in
Yeah.
BSV and it takes 15 minutes for you to use it, maybe it's already too late.
Too late for what?
To buy that Chinese stock, for example.
But why would I sell Bitcoin for a Chinese stock?
Oh, you don't sell. This is your money. You use BSV as your money and you
Yeah,
send
as the
it.
intermediary to
You
invest in
send
China.
it to China. I send it to you via BSV because I don't want to send it via Swift, for example. Because the fees are even higher, it takes even longer. So I use BSV. But BSV, when it comes to really short time frames of execution, 15 minutes are way too long. Way too long. So you would need me to send me money at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, so at 9 o'clock I can buy. And this is not full efficiency. This is still lacking. This is still not what we could have. You know? So believing that Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, eCash, whatsoever, is going to be the main cash being used by all the countries around the world, I just don't see it. I don't see a single currency coming. We have a single currency. We have a world reserve currency. Why in the new system
Dollar.
again having, yes, but why in the new
How
system
long's
having
that gonna
again,
last? People are starting to scheme against the United States.
yes, but that's not the thing what I wanted to tell you. You need ghost money. You need an asset that is neither correlated to a ruble, neither to a dollar, but still Russia can buy, I just say, Russia can buy oil from United States in ruble and United States will get paid in US dollars. This is what we need. So nobody has to say, I want just this currency to accept. I just want to buy in this currency and I just want to buy in that crypto coin. We need something to settle all the futures, all the derivatives, all the options worldwide instantly with liquidity. No project can, not a lot of projects are made for this. This is a $1 quadrillion market, and people aim for a $10 trillion Bitcoin. Like, they are just brainwashed, in my opinion. There will be 100 times bigger market to be access to. This is what I believe. And I'm interested in knowing not with which currency people are going to buy the apples at the market on the street, but I want to know when Ukraine becomes money or gets money from Russia and they don't want to hold ruble, that there is an intermediate asset that bridges the liquidity. None other than this. And I believe this will be the key point in the next system. Owning, like, let's say, you own a part of Visa, which makes you eligible to get 0.0001% per transaction made in the whole world using Visa. So this time it will be different. You are not a shareholder getting some kind of rewards when people use the technology. But it's if you hold something that is native on the chain to use the chain, and if there is a limited supply to it, and there is a lot of momentum and volume coming into it, it needs to have a certain price. And for me, for example, with XRP, the only thing that brings up the price is volume. None other than volume and liquidity. The rest is all speculation. It will never pump to $100 if this does not happen. Never. And that's why people don't believe in it, because they don't see the future coming. And that's okay, you know. But this is the main thing. I just don't believe in a single currency where people buy apples and their groceries with, plus invest in, plus have a gain in their portfolio on average over 15 years. It just does not make sense.
Yeah, so there's obviously some limitations he's going to come into in the courts with his patents.
Let's see. Let's see how important
He's
these
obviously not
patents
going to
are.
get his way in everything. There will be,
Who
obviously,
approved
there
his
will be other
patent?
things.
Who approved his patent?
The US Patent Trademark Office.
So the government.
Exactly.
Let's see.
But they've also approved patents for other crypto companies as well.
So they also gave Coinbase the license and said you have open doors now, and then they sued them. So I don't know, man. It's just confusing. I don't believe anyone. I just believe in what I understand.
Yeah.
I just don't look from an investor perspective. I see the idea of Bitcoin SV, obviously, but on the other side, we know all what is gatekeeping. We know what shadow banning. We know all this stuff. So if the government is giving him this license and the government wants now to have their hands on what is actually having momentum, what do you think are they going to do with that patent? I don't believe there are enough. He hasn't a big community. How big is this Bitcoin SV community?
Not very big, a few thousand people probably.
So you need to be a real big believer. All this whole community needs so a conviction of what he says is true that they will do everything for him to win. If that does not happen, he will not win. This is what I
But it
believe.
doesn't matter if he wins or not. That's a personal Craig issue, whether he
Imagine,
wins or not.
imagine.
That doesn't really affect the investment that much, whether he's Satoshi or not. Bitcoin SV would still be the original Bitcoin. And that's what I'm more concerned about rather than, oh, Craig made it, he didn't make it. I don't care if he made it or not. I just want to I liked the original Bitcoin in 2013 when I found it and I used it. Everything worked properly. It was a good idea. I liked the stable protocol, and it was good. And Bitcoin should be what Bitcoin always was. And so whether
So
he
how
made it
much
or not, I don't
transaction
care.
fees do you pay for a whole Bitcoin if you buy it now?
Transaction fees.
For if you buy for 42,499, the price it is right now, how many fees you're gonna pay?
So what, BTC?
You buy one BTC right now. What's the fee?
Massive. It'd be like Coinbase would want 2%, and then
Okay, and then
whatever spread they're
then
giving
it
you.
goes up 2% and you're break even. So what does it change?
What, the fees? If you want to use it as a currency, it says in the line
That's
one
why
of the white
that,
paper,
that's why it
peer-to-peer
will never be
electronic cash.
used. That's why it never will be used as a currency. It failed several times being the currency. That's why they changed to a store of value, because it's not working as a currency.
Bullshit. It was working as a currency, and that's why they changed the store
When
of
there
value.
was no weight.
They changed to the store of value because they needed to fork the chain because they didn't want people to see what Bitcoin SV really was, what was really going to do.
And now they waited a sixth of of 100 years. So now he can come out and say, "We all fucked you over. This is the real Bitcoin."
Yeah. Well, no, they're going to
Let's
push
see.
another narrative. They're going to push XRP.
Let's go.
They're going to push XRP 100%.
Let's go. Let's go.
And they're going to
Obviously,
say Bitcoin's a scam
obviously they're gonna do it. I mean,
because they own
Brad
50% of the
Garlinghouse is
supply.
on Davos since 4 years. He's sitting with BlackRock in the rooms with all the settlers in this world. So I look at network, not at chains. I look who are they sitting in the rooms with. Yes, but they just can lock your accounts, bro. They have no reason to lock my account. I mean, come on. I'm not an illicit criminal which needs to be overwatched all the time. It's just for criminal people. These things are very important. Like, people use Instagram, WhatsApp, Zoom, and you sell all your data using these platforms. So what are you afraid of? Like, I don't get it. Your phone takes every 5 seconds a screenshot of your face and your dick. So, like, if in the front of your camera and the back of your camera, they are filming you 24/7. So, which privacy are you looking for? Uh,
But I've said this already, Bitcoin's not about privacy. It was never about privacy. BTC is about privacy because they forked the chain so that they could do a private shit on it. BSV, it's not private at all.
so BSV existed before BTC. In
Yeah.
2009, the launch of
2009, 10,
Bitcoin
11, 12,
was.
Bitcoin was BSV.
So 2009, the first release of the white paper was the BSV white paper.
Yeah. But it wasn't called BSV because they hadn't hijacked the chain and made the fork. It was
Mhm.
just called Bitcoin. And after this, it'll likely just be rebranded to Bitcoin.
So you think the guys forked Bitcoin, made it transparent, made it private?
Epstein forked Bitcoin.
I don't know. I don't want to get into that. I just don't care, you know? If he does it, I just don't care, bro. It's just that I don't know. It's too, for me, it's too far reaching. I was like that two
It's
years
not
ago,
that
three
there's an
years ago.
article about it. It's not a
Once
conspiracy
it's
theory.
an
He
article, it's mean to
factually he
manipulate.
factually sent money to the people to get them to fork Bitcoin.
Okay, because there were all these other projects being completely private where you cannot trace anything on it.
Bullshit.
Why McAfee, for example? How
Nah,
many
these privacy projects, someone can
how many
see
how many
uh,
how many transactions does McAfee had on BSV?
0. I don't know. What are you
Yes,
talking?
and this is what you need to ask yourself. The guys that are being geniuses in the cybersecurity space having a lot of problems just because of what they know, not using it. I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
but McAfee was planning to tell everyone what he knew, and he already did.
Yes.
And that's why he got killed.
Not in the first place. I believe it's because he talked in the first place about things like Monero, about all these privacy coins, and also
Okay, you think
the
that's why he got.
no, I don't think that's the reason. I just say this is one of the things. You cannot say he got caught because of that. You will not never know it. You will never know it. And to claim that is just for me naive, because you will never know what he really wanted to tell you because you don't have his awareness. He can say A and you understand B. He can say B, but you interpret A. So how sure can you be about someone's what he says, you know? Like, I don't know. I mean, time will tell. Time will tell. I am not against what you say. I first of all don't care. If you say it's gonna even make in what I believe stronger, let's fucking go. Let's crash BTC to zero, man. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
just don't care. But I will never believe that BSV is gonna take over the space. I just don't believe it.
Well, as long as it gets into the top 10, it's surely a top 10 in the space.
Yes, I mean, yes, if it's going to go to the top 10, let's say, what is the top 10? 10 billion. So you have a 10x.
It's easy, top
Let's
10.
say we do a 10x from here. So projects that are now, let's say, at 10 billion go at 100 billion. So that would be great. Yes, but you surely just do it because of price appreciation, not because of the truth, you know?
Yeah, but price appreciation would lead to the truth. It would lead to people being bribed in BSV to share the truth, and then that would spur investor demand.
I mean, a million X in Hex didn't told the truth to the people. It's just like, I don't know.
But Hex is a high inflation coin. That's never going to solve anything long
Oh,
term.
brother, it's crazy. It's how do you just say that right now? Give me an example. Why is it inflationary?
Because you stake Hex and you get like thousands of percent return. How the fuck? Who's funding that?
Thousands of percent return. Who told you that?
That's what I thought Hex was all about.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, you stake it and you get passive. No?
Delayed gratification, yes. The only reason why the community is highly incentive to lock their coins is for the price performance because the chain or how he created the fork after he forked it, because it's a fork of Ethereum. No, it's a fork of no, yes, it's a fork of Ethereum, not a real fork, but it's a smart contract on Ethereum. So he always worked.
Pull up your screen with the Hex chart.
Yes,
Right.
you will see. I can show you a lot of different metrics.
But Craig Wright is what's his name?
He was a
Richard
friend
Hart.
of he was a friend of Craig Wright.
Richard Hart's surely going to jail though, no?
No, he just win. He won like
He won his case.
a big majority of it. Yes, of course, because this guy know exactly what he's talking about. He has an IQ of over 135. So it's a different guy. He bought Bitcoin. He mined Bitcoin at 50 cent and got reward like $25 for a 15 block reward on Bitcoin. He was rich before he's 25, selling sex toys, and he had a digital agency where he was one of the first big companies, let's say, making marketing for other people. Let's say, can
You're supporting some guy that used to sell fucking sex toys over Satoshi.
I mean, what I did 10 years ago doesn't define who I am today, so I'm not judging people based on their past, but more rather based on who they are today and what their intention is. And just simply understanding, I mean, believe me that the community in Hex, they are fucking smart, okay? I was on at least two 12-hour live streams where all the big influencers came on the live. And when I tell you, these 24 hours made me understand more about crypto than the 5 years before. This is what I can tell you when it comes to chains and what the space really is about. So, this is the first reason why I got into it, because they just gave me the truth about the industry, or I believe what they tell me is the truth. So, you want me to pull up the chart? Let's see. I even gonna go to Dex Screener, because we will see the liquidity and everything in the same place. So what was your question?
How do we make money?
How do you make money?
Heck's making money.
Yes, I mean, it's up 200% more than Bitcoin SV since 3 cycles, you know? So it's just a
So
question
it's
of
based on
timing.
Ethereum.
The thing which you don't, or which you forget, is that from here on to the downside was a split. So everyone that hold Hex during that day got a copy on another chain. So the price got split in half, but you have double the tokens now. So it stays the same. Then the price got a little bit lower because a lot of people were not convinced anymore that it can go up. So now, was money everything you wanted to confront me with, or was there something
Heck.
else? Yes.
Well, I want to see the chart and then I'll ask my questions.
Okay, so do you want me to explain the chart and then you ask your question, or do you want to ask the question and then I explain the chart?
Explain the chart, then ask the question.
Okay, so initially, this was the bottom.
I can't see your screen.
Oh, sorry. I just need to look if on my live they can see also the screen. But people, I had like 30
So this is
people
what the
in the live
weekly.
for now, but they all went away because I had the black screen.
Yeah. What if they all still left?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's okay. But yes, so this isn't even the real chart. So the real chart is this one, where you can see where it launched.
what? So is this Hex on its own blockchain?
No, this is Hex doesn't have its own blockchain. It's not a layer one. It's a smart contract. So it has the security mechanism of Ethereum, which is a lot stronger than BTC. That's why, because he was a Bitcoin Maxi, the airdrop that people that got the airdrop were Bitcoin holders. That's why this time with Pulse Chain, he gave an airdrop to every Ethereum and ERC20 holders on decentralized wallets, but he excluded the Ethereum Foundation, Vitalik, and all the big guys that have a lot of Ethereum,
To
which
force them to buy.
no, so they cannot sell.
Oh, because they would just dump it.
Yes, and the idea with the OA always was, if someone forks Hex, he has the main power on their chain, so he can just blow up the chain. He can just wreck the prices because he has the majority of the copies on the new chain.
Who?
So let's say Richard Hart. Nobody knows who has the OA, but I believe it's like he or someone related to him. So
Yeah.
he has this OA which holds 90% of all the tokens never gonna be being released. Why does he?
90%.
Yes, there are, I don't know, there are maybe 80 billion or 90 billion hacks available out there, not talking about order books. And I will explain you the order book theory, because you have a Metcalfe's law. that is also created by him. Okay, he created that law. So just saying that the airdrop of Hex was for Bitcoin holders and they bashed him the whole cycle. This is a scam, this is this, this is that. And he said, go fuck yourself, Bitcoin holders. Now I'm going to make it for the Ethereum holders. And because he was not a big fan of Ethereum in the first place, because he also thought it was a scam, or I don't know exactly what his thought process was, but he wasn't a fan of Ethereum.
I should have been FOMOing into Ethereum back in the day.
So that's why he said one day, he also explains this in a lot of his lives. He said, I was wrong. Like, one day I realized, okay, there is something new, there is something better, and I'm just naive to not believe it or to not look into it, or. So once he looked into Ethereum, he realized that Ethereum is better than Bitcoin. No, he does not say Ethereum is the best. He just says that Ethereum is better than Bitcoin. So,
Then BTC.
yes. So the thing is, why he also then programmed his new chain, his layer one that he forked from Ethereum after the implementation migration of proof of stake. So he just waited for the proof of stake mechanism to come out because they have changes in the EVM and so I don't know. It's too deep for me, you know. But basically, yeah, after he realized that, he based his whole narrative around Ethereum, still holding all his Bitcoin, obviously. But people say, yeah, the OA, he just created his project to dump on his community once the time is coming. And the only thing why he created so many tokens is just the fact that people like to have a lot of, let's say, contracts of something that make them feel richer than less of something. So his idea was just to create so many hacks so that the price does not skyrocket immediately to $50, $100, because he says, I'm not really interested in a very high price token. He said, I much rather want hex in the second cycle to hit 50 cents, a dollar, $2, than having, let's say, hundreds of the supply and having extreme high prices, because the only really incentive of hex is the T-shares. So the less liquidity, the less movement there is, and the more end stakes there are and lesser restakes there are, the higher the T-share price, or the lower, the lower the T-share price will be, but the higher will be the reward of the T-share price, which defines how many hex you're getting rewarded for the T-shares. So it's not the same, let's say, staking mechanism than all the other projects. So to make something rise really high in value, there needs to be just a little bit of liquidity. If there is too high liquidity, it's hard, obviously, to move the price. As Bitcoin, it has liquidity of, let's say, I don't know, $20 billion. So to move it, you need a lot of money. And look, just the fact that now it rose almost 100% in liquidity just because we have 100% move in the price. Okay. So we had like 680K in liquidity, which just means what is in order books, limit orders. This is what moves the price. This is what
So why
people
is there such
trade.
low liquidity compared to the market cap? Seems like it's
Because the market cap is just an illustration of a supply times the price, which also
so that
correlates to a
includes the
bubble or
90%.
not. What?
Does that include the 90% that's in the
Yes.
wallet?
So
Yeah.
so this is the 90% that never will come out are calculated in that price. Fully diluted valuation market cap. So it's every coin out there that is calculated in that market cap. And this
Yeah.
is also why he explains that market cap is bullshit. It does not mean anything. It does not mean how many how much liquidity really is in a chain. You know? So first of all, Hex was the idea of having a token that has price appreciation programmed into it, plus helping Ethereum making transactions. So then he realized that his community said that, yeah, the fees are getting too high. They want to buy for, let's say, $100, but they pay $100 transaction fee, and it makes no sense. So then later on, he created Pulse Chain. And Pulse Chain, you pay, I believe, 1/100th of the transaction fee of Ethereum, or even the thousands. And it's a fork of Ethereum. So he forked Ethereum and had the ability to scale the transactions. So, which also is possible on Ethereum, but they don't do it. Because the miners needs to be paid, which are paid in gas fees. Ethereum is just a gas fee token. It's a gas token, none other than that. So even Vitalik said that they are not the internet of value, that Ripple is the internet of value, and they are overseeing processor launch, some word like that. I don't know exactly what he said. So what I am interested in is seeing the liquidity. If I go to a project that has like 20, 30 million market cap, often they have the same liquidity as Hex has with the 5.6, 5.8 billion market cap. So as you see, this 100% move, or just look today, we dumped in the last 24 hours, let's say 7%, but there were 821K buying volume and 870K selling volume. So 50K in difference made the price fall almost 10%, which shows you that's the real liquidity available on the market. So whales stopped dumping from here on because the slippage was too big. So now, where the majority of whales exited, the pump had happened. It came back down, the pump happened. And as you see, if you go lower, it just reacted in the last two imbalances. So it came back down in the last two imbalances and reacted here. Boom, sweep that imbalance, closed it 50% or even 100% of it. And I waited for the last imbalance to be hit, and I wanted to put 2K back into it because it would have give you a lot of coins compared to when it was, let's say, at 8 to 10 cents. Okay. So my worst case scenario for the bull run would be 10 cents. Okay,
So
let's
do
say
you own Hex on Pulse Chain or on Ethereum?
on both.
And what one do you prefer? What one's the real Hex?
There are different views, but I believe the whales have 15-year stakes on Ethereum on their hex.
Okay.
And the Pulse hex is the free token, basically. So
But to claim
there
those
will
stake
be,
profits, they would need to burn an Ethereum gas fee, wouldn't they?
again,
To claim their stake profits, would
yes,
they need to burn Ethereum gas?
pay Ethereum gas,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Holy shit. So
And on the
best doing
other
that
side,
Pulse Chain.
yes, that's why the community says we need something different, and that's why he created Pulse Chain to eliminate all that, you know. So it has its
It's a shame
advantage
that
and
it
its
launched on Ethereum before he had Pulse Chain ready.
true, but Hex was let's say the project was created a lot earlier than the fees of Ethereum going up as high as it did. So that wasn't really a problem until last bull cycle high. You know what I mean? So let's say when Bitcoin was Ethereum was at $100, the gas fee weren't that big of a problem. But once all these ERC20 got launched and the liquidity rose 100x, this is where the gas fees just rose and rose and rose. So it's the weight of the liquidity which determines how effective a chain is. And that's why I always say, until there is a lot of volume, I will never say this is better than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And look, when we were here at the low, I was like, how can Hex move even to this point here, this would be a 32x. How can they do it? And then last week happened, okay? And you see one candle coming in, bringing 700k new money in and pumping 150%. So now you will start to realize that people really trade order flows and not market caps. How do you want the price to jump that if there is a 5.8 billion market cap? Let's say it was at 3 billion before, or 2.8 whatsoever. There is not in 1 week, in 3 days, 2.8 billion coming into the market. So this shows you how much is circulating. Not a lot. And this determines price appreciation. Because if tomorrow BlackRock says, we're going to buy into Hex, we want to put in $1 billion, where do you think this price is going to go? You know what I mean? And this is why I bet on Hex.
Yeah, but they would need to buy it first.
Yes,
So
of
the price
course.
would be already ballistic before they said that.
Yes, they cannot buy in one go. So they need to buy, wait for sellers, bring the price down, buy, wait for sellers. So it's always this liquidity grab, as it does always.
Do you think BlackRock are going to get into Hex?
No, it was just to illustrate big capital coming into low liquidity. We
Okay.
don't need $10 billion coming here. I mean, come on, mate. If 130 million hit the Hex market right now on Ethereum, it's going to make 100x. This is what I tell you.
Yeah.
And this is also why I didn't stop believing in it, plus the fact that people only see the wrong chart. This is the real chart. We never went to the bottom of this
Is this
chart.
the pulse chain chart?
No, this is the real Hex chart.
What, on Ethereum?
Yes.
Okay.
The pulse
So the one
chain
before
Hex
was
is
from
this
pulse
one.
chain.
This is the pulse chain Hex.
What a mess. With 25 million liquidity.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, because all the sheep are believing. Because people are more interested in paying a lower fee than really appreciating the price appreciation it could have, you know? Like, it's 20 times heavier.
I would much rather have the Hex on pulse chain than...
Yes. On pulse chain, this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go for it. Because they are paired in liquidity pools. So if this goes up, the other one goes up. If this
Because
goes...
if Ethereum runs into the same problems as it did last bull run, you're not even going to be able to sell.
No, you don't understand.
Expensive.
Which is perfect if people can't sell.
Why? How
Because
is that perfect? Perfect for who?
because it, for me,
Well,
it's
so
a
you're
game,
just
bro.
gonna pay the higher fee and sell.
Of course.
What
Because
if
look,
it's so high that it like knocks out your game?
listen, bro, the fees wasn't that high last bull run. I pay a
It's like
300.
$300, bro.
Bro, I don't care if I take out 400k. Come on, mate. What does it make a difference if I pay $300 for a transaction? I don't care, man. Seriously.
No, I'm saying it could 10x this bull run, so it'd be $3,000.
No, it will not 10x. It did a 2x, almost 3x in 3 days, bro. Come on.
No, but the fee could 10x.
Yes, and I paid $3,000 to take the money out, a few hundred K. I don't care, mate. The thing is, why I choose
Hey, you're
Ethereum.
fucking high as a kite, dude.
No.
How much are you smoking, man?
No, I didn't even smoke. That's the point. What I tell you is that all the big whales didn't pay a single cent for their pulse hex. And they paid their whole life insurance to buy e-hex back then. And they locked the coins for 15 years. Why do you think they don't want the price to crash to zero? Because they have their fucking 15-year stakes open. What did they invest in pulse chain?
I just said it was going to 10x. I didn't say it was going to crash to zero.
No. I just give you the scenario of why I choose Ethereum hex. And I don't care about the transaction fee. Because the people that bought Hex at the lows last cycle, they make so much money.
So funny, like you're calling the people that buy it on Pulse Chain sheeple.
Yeah, because they care about the little transaction fee. Making thousands of percents of gains.
Yeah, but we're talking a potentially 3K transaction fee.
Yes,
It's not a little transaction fee. Like that's
it will never happen, a 3K transaction fee.
no.
And if that happens, I sell multiple small chunks of it. I don't care, mate. I just don't care. I just know when liquidity is low, price appreciation is anticipated. Here, we need 25 million influx, new money, for it to pump 100%. If 25 million hit the EHEX chart, we see a
So
lot.
why are there so many more sellers on the Pulse Chain version?
There are not more sellers. This is just because the whole community is promoting the Pulse chain because everyone sacrificed for the airdrop. So obviously they want to go away from Ethereum one
Ethereum.
someday, you know. But I don't believe it's going to be this cycle because every new user which is coming to crypto will not be interested in on-ramping and bridging their money to Pulse Chain when they never used a decentralized wallet. You know what I mean? So you need an enthusiastic community for this even to be possible. So now they are creating fiat on ramps. And once everything is set up, I will bridge my hacks over to Pulse Chain and sell them there for a small gas fee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So they're working on an on-ramp to move it over to Pulse Chain.
There is already an on ramp.
So why don't you on-ramp it if there's more liquidity to
Because
sell?
I have hex on both sides and I don't need to.
I thought you said you only had it on one.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, right.
And I believe there is more price appreciation and less liquidity on Ethereum in the cycle coming because everybody now says PHEX is going to outperform EHEX. Let's see. Maybe the price will be higher, but I talk about percentages, not the price.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so what's the price difference now? That one's
1.8,
0.01.
1.8
Oh
cents.
wow, it's much more expensive on Pulse Chain
And that's why the liquidity is that high, and because
because
everybody
it's reached
bridged
the
also
top.
their tokens over. So what makes actually the Metcalfe's law work is when the whales of EHEX bridge their EHEX to Pulse Chain and provide liquidity between EHEX and PHEX, which makes the price move together. So maybe, let's say, we would have a combined price of $2 hex on both chains combined. So maybe it's going to be 50 cents on Ethereum and it's going to be 150 on Pulse Chain, let's say. Or maybe it's going to be 150 on Ethereum and 50 on, you know what I mean? So this liquidity pairing will bring no matter the momentum of one chain into the other. Mm.
Yeah.
And
So
during,
it
look,
always balances out over time.
yes, just take the last pump to the high it did. It was 193%. And now I go here and I do the same thing. From the low to the high, it did 150%. So, is it not clear? And for me,
Is what
when you on-ramp new users then that are not directly on-ramped by Richard Hart or the biggest whales in the Hex community, they will firstly buy on Ethereum. This is what I believe. They don't want to copy their contract address and creating a new network, bridging their tokens, paying a gas fee for that, and blah blah blah. So even if it happens, we have the liquidity pools also between PHEX and USDC, PHEX and DAI, EHEX and DAI, and so on. So they know exactly what they are doing. It's a very, very smart community. I would say even smarter when it comes to chains and tech than the XRP community, because the XRP community is a community that wants the truth to prevail. and wants obviously their investment to grow by the utility it could bring. But Hex is all about um, being the better Bitcoin, and Pulse Chain is all about having a better Ethereum, less gas fees, more scalable, etc. So Hex initially was just a better Bitcoin, better price appreciation. It's flawlessly running since 400 days. What am I talking about? Since 3 years, there were never a transaction no problem, flawlessly ran through. Even now, where Richard Todd says, when I'm going to prison, it does not mean when I die, Hex will still run. So he says it's unstoppable. You cannot stop it. It's impossible to stop it. And now he has Pulse Chain, so he created its own layer one. How do you want to stop it? It's not possible. And look at this beauty when you don't look where it could go or where it comes from, and you just
Wait,
take the
take it on the monthly or the weekly though. Yeah. Yeah, it's looking nice.
so
What was the peak?
55,
51.
50, 55, depends on the exchange.
And it's what, 1 cent now?
No, yes. So
Just under.
I scooped up here at 5.4, and then yes, now I was like, I don't know, 65% down. Now I am 30% down, and we didn't even broke the peer market structure. So
Oh, down from your
nice.
previous holdings.
Yes. On one chain, not the both combined. But look,
Yeah. So you had the Ethereum first, and then you entered the Pulse chain after, just to like test it out.
no, I got a copy for free.
So every one you were holding, you got another one airdropped.
Yes, and people say, look at this dump. Yeah, bro, we got double the coins. Obviously, the price will split in half.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it makes no sense. It's like a stock split or reverse
Yeah.
split, you know? So, well, anyway. Let's just take this. This is a beautiful cup and handle we have here, and it's an inverse head and shoulders if you want to take it like that, okay? I just think it's more like an cup and handle, which is a recognized pattern on Wall Street and everywhere. This is not YouTube names for this. So you have here this beautiful cup and the handle, and those price targets, conservative price targets of a breakout, would bring us back to this price is potentially 5 cents. So this would already be a 5x. And yes, not even talking about, let's say, worst case scenario for EHEX this cycle would be taking the liquidity of that sell event, buy the rumor, sell the news. And let's say the bull run over until 2025 would just bring us a liquidity sweep of that highs. That would still be greater than a lot of projects, would still be 12x. So if there is a small chance of FOMO kicking in, liquidity being what it is, that we can,
At all-time highs. Yeah.
yes, and if that happens, I mean, like, I'm very happy. I am very happy if that happens. And every other thing than that, I would make a lot more money with a lesser big investment in this one than in all my other XRP and don't know what so I really believe that due to the low liquidity, we can bring these prices back up, because this was the big payday back then. This was the big yes. So these were the first big shares expiring. It dipped, and this was, let's say, the dip ended my internet connection. The 23rd of November 2020. Let's see. 23rd November of 2020. 23rd November was here. So when Bitcoin already did from its low to this day 535%, Hex dumped during the big payday 91%. Okay. After that dump, it pumped up 465%. Just in the same moment, Bitcoin went from 19K to 69K, which was a 255% move. Hex did a 465x. Are you still there?
Yeah, the internet's really bad.
Yeah, it just dropped the bitrate. So, do you hear me again?
Yeah, it's better now. But
Okay,
it dropped really bad at one point, like a minute ago.
okay. So, what was the last thing you heard? That,
Oh no, I heard it all fine. It was just like really lagging.
okay. But just to say, when Bitcoin did 250% from the 23rd November to the bull run top, Hex did 656x in that small time frame here.
Yeah.
And also this pump here, this one, made the altcoins just skyrocket. Do you remember Sandbox, Gala Games, and all these coins just pumping crazy? The last pump in Bitcoin to the highs. So I believe it lags behind, but it takes it back after. Look, from the big payday, which was on the 23rd of November, till the high, 465x. So let's say the liquidity back then was even 10x lower, which would mean that we get at least 10x less than then. At least. Let's say we get a 50x from here. From the bottom, a 50x would bring us to the price I told you we're going to sweep at the highs. And
Seems
if
likely.
yeah, and if there is no liquidity, bro, we're gonna just go through that one. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but yeah. I mean, nobody was buying here. Everybody was afraid. Everybody was selling. So once the sellers stop, and you don't have leverage trading on Hex, you cannot short it.
There's no platforms that allow you to short it.
Yes. So who do you want to short it on futures? Nobody. So once the big sellers are out, it's gonna go up only until the next incentive comes to sell. But when then momentum comes and momentum is there, it's just gonna go up and up and up and up until it's over and goes down 90%. Obviously. Yeah, and this is what I'm speculating on. Because I don't believe it's gonna die, this project. Never, never, never. This is like a project like XRP getting fraud since its existence, and it outperformed every single project in the crypto space. Like, yes, you can watch data or you can watch what people think, and data shows me that we don't need a lot of money to push it high. This is what I believe. So once we break once we break this this cup and handle here, you will see this fly at least to this imbalance. And that just from the break of the highs would be a 150% move. But if you are in since the low here, let's say you accumulated here at the lows, this would be a 500% move. And if Solana can do it, this low liquidity can do it too. I mean, look in 1 week, like it's some kind of mind blowing, don't you think so? Look, It's crazy. 1.6
Stable.
million influx, 3.3 million buys and sells. It's crazy. It's nothing. It's dust. So once there comes momentum and big guys, because I heard what was it on X? There was a chat room from the brother of Grant Cardone, and he shielded to his brother. And then Grant Cardone said, "What is hex? Is this a, what did he say? Is this some kind of sorcery or something because of the name?" And then he
Yeah.
laughed. So people are watching it. People know that it exists. They are just waiting. Why waiting? I don't know. To not get the best price, I assume. Because I was waiting one
Do you think
candle too
there's going to
long.
be one more pullback, or do you think it's over?
I hope that it's going to push through now. But yeah, this is the place I reaccumulate. If it comes back into this
Zero
zone, I
four
will I will
zero
put
zero
back
six.
yeah, money into it, because I wanted to buy here, and just $1,000 would have got me down here like 350k hex. Now here it's 120k hex, and like
Wow.
it's nothing,
So it's
just this
3x.
little move, you know. So,
Yeah, it's tiny now. Yeah.
and this is what I I never forget. Look this volume. Look here. There's nothing, bro. It's two little volume spikes here.
Yeah.
And they said that this was an hex whale that bought back in. So they are looking at sacrifice
We're watching.
addresses. So everyone that sacrificed for Pulse Chain was somewhere involved in the hex community. So now they realize that people that sacrificed for Pulse Chain now are reaccumulating hex at the lows. And that this is these two pumps. Look, when you go into not logarithmic, it looks like it could never reach the top again. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But when then last week happened, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? You know, why can it not pump? If in 3 days we do this, why can it not in 2 years or in 1 year come up here? You know, it's like, for me, it's possible. Look how far it is away for 25. Like, uh, look this candle, like crazy. Cannot tell me that it is impossible to reach these prices. So once we break this trend line, it's gonna go for these imbalances, which would directly put it between 4.5 and 6 cents. Imagine you have 500,000 of these coins. This is some money, you know.
Hmm.
So this is why I am invested in it. Plus, it is censorship resistant. It is protected by Ethereum. It is programmed to have price performance. The community understands the narrative of locking up coins to delay gratification and capitalizing on price performance. Because you get 38% on the T shares per year, but the price is moving 20, 30x. So this is where you compound your interest on your staking.
But where's that money coming from? The 90% wallet?
Yes.
Okay, so so the staking just drops over time as they run out of coins in the 90% wallet.
Yes, but it will not run out. It's like in more than 100 years this could happen. So it's like, I don't even think that these coins are all gonna be released, because the higher the price of hex goes, the lesser hex you need to reward people with, you know. Look, here you can make like, I don't know, um 52 weeks, weeks from now, 52 weeks. So now we, until now, this was great for me because you see here the in the background this line here is giving you the cumulative shares that are expiring. So until now, the big spikes didn't really matter a lot in the beer market. It pushed the price where it is now. So it mattered. But imagine um, next next beer market, here you have less shares expiring, but you have more cumulative shares expiring, but lesser volume, lesser stakes expiring with more cumulative shares. So
So
now
it
you
could be a
had
lot better
more.
this year with all these
m-
people dumping.
what?
So what about these big spikes? Is that not a bit worrying?
It depends because still here the cumulative
January.
shares are some kind of low, you know. Once we hit these cumulative shares, you know these are the weights. But then the stakes expire, less stakes expire, so it can harmonize itself. Plus momentum, it will not really, because it does not mean when somebody unstakes that it's not gonna restake it. It just means that the stakes have ended. So he has also mechanism implanted in that when your stakes expire, you don't have to swap them immediately. So you don't, for example, now your hex stakes expires on the 25th of December. So if you would sell it and convert it, you would need to pay taxes. So now they did a way so you can hold your expired shares but not sell them to not pay the taxes at that particular moment.
Yeah.
So they can delay their bill. It's none other than that. So there are a lot of things programmed into it that are really great. I mean, this is, as you know, with Bitcoin, the higher the price goes, the more people will be interested in selling it. Doesn't mean it's not going up further. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I believe this cycle could be extremely interesting for Hex again. And then, I mean, if it overperforms a lot of coins this run, everybody will know about it. And then it will gain in weight, in liquidity, and it will not be the same anymore, in my opinion. So, this was its first cycle. So, we have the first initial launch, the first high, the first bear market low. When you go to Ethereum and you look what it did after the first cycle, and this was 15, Ethereum was created in 2012, I believe. Can that be? Because this is Bitstamp now. But just showing you this, you can take Fibonacci tool, take it to the lows, and then it almost here reached what, yeah, 58%. We would have reached the 1.618. And if I do the same here, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
How did you say frothing at the mouth?
Yeah. Yeah, you would be if it goes to that, man.
Look, like,
For
let's say between 50 cents and $3, that would be, oh my god, like, I don't even need that high. So I don't care. I just hope it reaches these 10 cents to 50 cents again, and everything after that. Once we hit that, I will try to see the timeline and see where are we in the cycle, and maybe it's time to don't care about another 100 200% and just go out.
yeah.
Yeah, this is the game plan for Hex XRP, man. It's fucking annoying me.
I think it's gonna have a big swipe up.
Yeah,
Of
I believe too.
10%.
Like, it's the same here. It's mind blowing. But when people make a technical analyze, they look at this. People look like this when they make a technical analyze. You don't see anything on this chart. Like, It doesn't tell you shit. It tells you what happened in the last 2 years, but come on. We all know that it just went down. So you need really to go out and see, like, let's pretend that Elliott waves are important in price development. So we have a 0, 1. Oh. Let's say we had our first pump here. This was the first significant pump. You said it's because of the chain fork, etc. There are a lot of reasons why this pump could have happened. I would not basically just put it on the fork of Bitcoin, but more than they knew back then that they are going to use it. So this is where all the big guys came in, and this is where we suffered. And they hold the price down all the time, so that we are more interested in buying other shit coins than realizing what they are going to do in the next 5 years back then. So, I mean, to fulfill its Elliott wave, it would need another leg up. It just, to fulfill this price action, we just need another pump. If it's gonna stop at $3, $5, $10, $30, I don't know. I just don't know. We're gonna see. But what we can do is waiting for the price to pump, and if the news reaffirms the narrative that we waited for years, obviously for the people recognizing or realizing it at that moment the news comes out, it will be too late. But it will tell us how much higher it could go, or is it the top? You know what I mean? Yeah. So if now at 23 and at 23 bucks they come out and say, yeah, we are going to tokenize everything on the XRP ledger, and we are at 20 bucks, you better sell everything you have,
Yeah.
So this is what I see. There will be a rock, but I believe there is a chance that there is a narrative, there is a saying that says, the longer the base, the higher in space. And in this case, we had the longest bear market, or let's say the longest base ever created in cryptocurrency. This is 2,200 days, bro, where it stayed in a range. Oh, come on. So, obviously, in an investor perspective, when you are here for price performance, this is not the project you are looking for. Yes or no? I don't believe so. So,
yeah, you're not looking to just make incremental gains.
Yes. And another interesting thing is that when you look the formation of what happened back here, because this was not the launch, this was in 2013, so XRP was created in 11/12, so we have price action before this chart. Okay, so that was the first bull run top here. So people think this pump was the only thing XRP did in the past, but we came here from multiple zeros behind the dot and pumped it up to 7 cents the first time, or 6 cents, which already were big gains. Then we had the top, which we also had here. We had the bottom, which we also had here. Then we had a lower high created in the next cycle. Here the time frame was just a little bit more compressed. So here the first top, the bottom of the cycle. First top, bottom of the cycle, next cycle, a lower high. Holding that trend line. Holding that trend line. Okay? So now we are in the same scenario, because from that high on we had a slow and steady correction with a long consolidation base, which we did the same thing here. We did the same thing. It's just a little bit difference in the price action, but it's the same formation. So I believe once we break this trend line here, connecting to all the highs we created, this will be the go point. So now the question is, if that happens, what will they do? Will they pump it immediately? Will they pump it, dump it, sideways action, pump? Or will it fail and we go down? You know? I mean, after 2,200 days, a move like this is rather not realistic. Because they already hold the price down for the majority of time of its existence. They had time during 2,000 days accumulating this asset. And there were once, Warren Buffett once says, I don't want a company to 10x in a cycle. He said, I want to buy next year even more, and that year after even more, and that year after or quarter after even more. So I'm not interested in a 10x quickly. I'm interested in longevity. I'm interested in 100x in the next 30 years, you know? So if that thesis, we take it to this one, you realize that they did none other than pumping the price, pricing out every retail, and then giving us boring action for 5-6 years to then push it higher. This is what I believe, and this is why I also still believe in it. The chart looks great, the connections are great, the rooms in which the company is sitting are great. They now said, Brad Garlinghouse on Davos now laughed about people asking if there would be an XRP ETF, and he said, of course, certainly there will be. When? And then he stopped talking about it. Not even Larry Fink can talk about it. They all just use the technological words to explain what will happen. Tokenization of assets. I mean, which chains are in development for those use cases since over, I don't know, 10 years. It is Ripple. It's the only company out there that could be purchased from bigger guys to be controlled. So we cannot change the fact of what they will do. We can just anticipate our own cake and giving it back to the people we love and the people that deserve it. We cannot change the fact that they create and have the game in their hands. It's their game. The market is their game. The Wall Street is their game. The whole economy is money game, and the money is a product of the banks. So as the product of Sarah is clothes. Money, their product is banks. It's the product of banks, and you play in their game. So talking bad about the bank and wanting to capitalize in their own space just makes you an hypocrite, you know? Because we all know that the change in this technology will be devastating for a lot of people. But they just don't want to listen, as if we don't do everything to tell it to everyone since 5 years. Nobody listens, so that's the price they are gonna pay. Does not mean that we are evil because we know the truth. And this is how I see it. It will change the world, it will go up in value, we will make a lot of money. But does not mean we are evil. Because it's what we do after that which determines who we are. And then, I just made a short before where I explained, like, the original narrative of Bitcoin always was like getting out of the rat race, custodying your own money, having an alternative currency, and all that stuff they promoted Bitcoin with, or BTC. And for me, it all was a beta version of a new financial system. So Bitcoin was basically, in my opinion, or it's not even that I would say 1,000% I'm sure about it, but I see Bitcoin as a cheap marketing incentive technique for people to accept that digital currencies have value. So incentivizing the few people with extreme gains would make their mouth talk to everyone they know. And then it takes 1 or 2 cycles for the people to realizing that he was right with what he was saying. And at that point, it's already too late. So Bitcoin for me was an incentive for the new system for people to say, digital money has no value, to I want my Bitcoin ETF approved by the government and the banks. I want the banks to buy all the Bitcoin so my portfolio goes up. And where's the morality of where it started? Like, I thought XRP is the banker's coin. And now you want the ETF to be approved, so they put all their money into your asset. It's like fucking degens. All the YouTubers, all these guys, I just don't get it. They are just so stupid that today they do everything just for the money. They do everything for the money and don't even understand the world. You know? That's what I see.
You think ETF would be good for XRP?
No, of course it's not
It'd be
good.
terrible. It's not good.
It has two sides. It depends on which side the big one play. You know? Because if they want the price to go up, if there's an ETF or not, it will go up. But if they want, if for example Bitcoin, let's say now in an example of BlackRock, let's say we found out about Bitcoin in, let's say, 2015, okay? Do you think if we little ants got Bitcoin in our ears in 2015, do you really think it took until 2017 for big institution to recognize or to realize that this asset is existing? No, it doesn't. And I believe what could be devastating for any cryptocurrency is them accumulating all the way and just waiting for, like Grayscale, just waiting for the ETF to be approved to dump the price. But I don't even believe that they are going to do it right now because of what I told you before.
Could go to all-time highs.
Yes, of course. It will. It will. It will.
Well, it would have to happen before the halving. After the halving, it's toast.
Yes, it will happen after the halving. And the problem is for the miners to continue to validate transactions, they need to have a profit to at least be break even. So for them to be break even, as you said, they are right now not really profitable. The price needs to double, and this is what it needed every cycle. If Bitcoin would have not pumped last cycle, the miners would be broke today, you know? So it's just a simple how we say that, demand and supply. If the demand is high and the supply is low, the price needs to go up. So if now the miners are those who hold up the chain because they validate transaction and bring security to the network, they need to be profitable somewhere in the cycle for it to continue to run. And now where the big guys are coming in, let's say, why would they crash the price now? Why now, where they are officially in? I mean, we can have a dump, obviously. But I mean, like the Bitcoin at 1K, 3K, 5K. I mean, why didn't they dump the price from 20K to $500 back then? Why did the Corona crash, which was a severe crash with a lot of liquidity and volume, quick? Why did it even pump the price or dump the price under the bear market lows? Because it was just an opportunity to accumulate. And BlackRock doesn't need a 10x on Bitcoin, you know? So they don't care. They really don't care.
Well, they can create ETF shares out of nothing.
Yes, for example. And back then, Richard Hart says we're gonna go at least to 15K to 12K because Grayscale had this discount on their Bitcoin.